We're also presenting a film by the British filmmaker Emily Wardill titled Six Serena and Dregs and Wreck from 2007. It's a 12-minute film, and it really extends Wardill's interest in exploring the notions of social convention and social behavior, and how that's often very constructed, how the way we behave is often very determined by figures of authority, by social, pre-existing kind of social and political networks. And so, and her work often her work typically features very unconventional forms of stagecraft and very different kind of methods of acting, both of which really encourage you to be very aware of the fact that you're seeing a film. They don't allow you to become sort of absorbed into a narrative or a story. You're always very conscious that you're sort of seeing something that's constructed and put together. It doesn't sort of like, you know, as with a lot of mainstream cinema, sort of take you out of your own physical sense of being and sort of teleport you somewhere else. It's really making you sort of very conscious of the film that you're seeing. And in the way that she's arranged the film, projecting it into the corner of the gallery and arranging the chairs in this particular arrangement, you're very, once again, aware of the act of spectating, of the process of looking at something and thinking about it, and thinking about the strange way that the actors are delivering their lines, or the way that the sets have been constructed within the film. The title of the film is based on a miswriting of the famous phrase, sex and drugs and rock and roll, that she saw written on a wall in Cuba. It was written as sex and drugs and rock. And so it stuck with her, and I think that in looking at this film that is very much about morality and how morality is conveyed through images and taught to people through images, she liked the notion of really changing that title, but retaining the language that title has, retaining the same kind of cadence and the same kind of word structure in a way, but kind of using this, Six Serena, Dregs and Wreck, it kind of puts you into a different frame of mind, makes you think of that you're going to be seeing something very different than sex and drugs and rock and roll. But sex and drugs and rock and roll has this allusion to a certain kind of moral licentiousness, a certain freedom from social conventions. And so I think the title really fits with the content of the film. And the content of the film is she alternates between images of stained glass windows from Gothic medieval churches in England from the 11th, 12th, 13th century. And those windows featured imagery that was used to convey religious and tales that were meant to teach the illiterate masses about morals, about the way they should live. And she feels that not much has changed in the 21st century, that there's still a lot of the use of images, the use of visual culture to transmit lessons and teachings about how we are supposed to live, what kind of moral code we are supposed to live by. And so the film really tries to investigate that relationship. And it alternates between images of the stained glass windows and recreations at times of some of those images with actors, with live people in the here and now. And the actors are involved in various kinds of actions and activities, and often speak their lines in some cases in a very sort of halting or stilted manner. At other times, some of the female characters sort of speak their lines directly after one another to create this almost very sort of displacing echo effect. And so the way that the actors are presenting their material is very different from what we come to expect in movies. You know, it really kind of makes us more conscious of the words that they're saying, about the rhetoric that they're transmitting through the lines, through the script that they're reading. But also they engage in these very different sort of often strange sort of gestures and actions that make the entire thing that much more strange.